Today we visited Tyneham Village, Dorset's lost village. There are places that tell a story, and then there are places where you can still feel it today. Hidden away in one of the most beautiful corners of Dorset lies a village unlike any other in Britain, a place where nature has reclaimed the streets, where silence has replaced the sounds of everyday life, and where the past feels remarkably close. Welcome to Tyneham. Nestled in a peaceful valley on the Isle of Purbeck, surrounded by rolling hills, and just a gentle walk from the Jurassic coast, Tyneham is often called Dorset's lost village. But it isn't lost at all. It's just waiting to be discovered. For hundreds of years, families lived here. Farmers worked these fields from sunrise until sunset. Children raced through the lanes, climbed the hills, and learnt their lessons in the little village school. Sunday mornings brought everyone together inside St Mary's Church, while neighbours gathered to share stories, celebrate weddings, welcome new babies, and say goodbye to loved ones. Life here wasn't wealthy or glamorous. It was simple. It was peaceful. And for generations it barely changed. Then in 1943, everything changed almost overnight. With the Second World War reaching a critical stage, the British Army needed somewhere to prepare for thousands of soldiers for the D-Day landings. The scheduled valley surrounding Tyneham was chosen as the ideal training ground. The villagers were given just 28 days to leave. Imagine being told you only had 4 weeks to pack up your entire life, to leave your home and family that had lived there for generations, to walk away from your farm, your school, your church, and your memories, believing it would only be for a short while. That's exactly what happened here. The residents were promised they could return when the war was over. So they locked their front doors, they closed their gates. Many left furniture behind. Some even left family photographs hanging on the wall. One resident pinned a very poignant handwritten note to the church door. It simply read, "Please treat the church and houses with care. We've given up our homes where many of us have lived for generations to help with the war." It's a message that still moves visitors today. Sadly, the promise was never kept. The war ended, but Tyneham never reopened to its residents. The Ministry of Defence retained the land for military training, and the villagers were forced to build new homes elsewhere. Today, more than 80 years later, Tyneham stands as one of Britain's most remarkable, still-standing time capsules. As you wander through these quiet lanes, it's easy to imagine life before the evacuation. The cottages may now be roofless, with ivy creeping through broken windows and trees growing where gardens once flourished. But every building has a story. Look closely, you'll notice the fireplaces that once warmed family homes, doorways that welcomed neighbours, garden walls that children once climbed. It's impossible not to wonder who lived here, what they dreamed about, what they felt on the day they walked away. One of the highlights of any visit is the beautifully preserved St Mary's Church. It was fascinating walking around the school, seeing the children's names still on the coat hangers, some of the work they were working on and the books on the shelves. An absolute reminder of how they were there one day and were gone the next. If you can get down here on a beautiful day, you'll be marvelling in the countryside around you. And a short walk from the village takes you to some fantastic beach locations. One of the highlights of any visit is the beautifully preserved St Mary's Church. Step inside and you'll discover memorials to families who once called Tyneham home. Fascinating displays telling the village's history and an atmosphere that's both peaceful and moving. Just a few steps away, as we've shown you, was the village school. Unlike many historic buildings, this isn't simply filled with display boards. It's been carefully restored to look exactly as it did in 1943. Exercise books on the desk, Maps still hang on the walls. Lessons are written on the blackboard. School photographs smile back at you from another area. For a moment, it genuinely feels like the children have just stepped outside for playtime and will return any second. But Tyneham offers far more than history. The surrounding landscape is simply breathtaking. A gentle walk through the valley leads you to Walborough Bay, one of Dorset's most beautiful and secluded beaches. Here, crystal clear waters meet dramatic limestone cliffs, while the Jurassic coast stretches away in both directions. If you're feeling adventurous, continue your walk to Flowers Barrow, an ancient Iron Age fort perched high above the coastline. From the summit, the panoramic views across the English Channel are nothing short of spectacular, making it easy to see why people have lived in this landscape for thousands of years. Because of the surrounding land has remained protected for decades, wildlife flourishes here too. Skylarks high above the valley, watch buzzards and peregrine falcons soaring effortlessly overhead. In spring and summer, the hillsides burst into colour with wild flowers, creating a landscape that feels wonderfully untouched. One of the things visitors notice most about Tyneham is silence. There's no traffic, no shops, no modern distractions, just birdsong, the breeze through the trees, and a distant sound of waves rolling.